meditation for 20 minutes. Mainly I met a lot of business people. So like you, I have a rational mind and working like an engineering, IT industry and so on. And I was like, why these people are doing meditation here? Then I met Patrici for like maybe 10, 15 minutes, and something happened. It clicked. And I don't know why, because I didn't analyze this. I was like, who is this Patrici? I never heard about him, where I am, and all these people around me, what are they doing? And actually, I came to the hotel. I started to search all night on Google, and I discovered so many people were doing meditation. I discovered what was PSSM. I read about vegetarianism. And the next day, I declared I am a vegetarian, which was for me a big, big transformation. My colleagues were looking at me. I said, no fish, no meat, no eggs, and they thought I was becoming crazy, but I kept going. And then I started daily meditation. I must say, the help of the PSSM people at that time, and especially Chandra and his wife Vani, was super helpful, because I was ready to drop. I was thinking, when I'm back in New York, I won't have the time.
And also take up more challenges to stretch my potential of my mind and the body. And from since then, my life became more meaningful and purposeful. And I became a real good fan of Patriji and pyramid philosophy. And I started reading many spiritual books as recommended by Patriji on all the senior masters. I attended many spiritual events by PSSM, and I discussed many spiritual concepts with senior masters. And later on in my life, meditation has helped me build relationships. So I had struggled to build a relationship initially, and with meditation, regular practice, I was able to overcome that. I was able to make good connection with the people around me. And I have to give many competitive exams. And meditation, thought power, and pyramids helped me to clear the exams very easily. Later on, and I was able to get into the job I was dreamed about all my life. And overall, meditation has changed my life so drastically that it showed me the real potential what I have within me. That's the overall thing meditation has given me, Jairam. I can keep going on and on. This is everything in a nutshell.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. I'm just like living your life as you were sharing your experiences, because again, many of us with those backgrounds that we came from, a lot of pressure in our life on education because there were very limited opportunities, and our parents want the best and brightest for you. So their aspirations, your aspirations, and the community aspirations are all on you, right? They want to realize their goals through you. So it's a lot of pressure in growing up.
All of us, from all of them
Yes,
around us,
yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes. And I'm glad that like you found that calling very early in your life and not waste your life, but you turned it into something more valuable. So I can't wait to talk to you on a couple more topics. So stay on. So let me bring in Sandeep Dao from California. Uh, Sandeep, if you can turn your video and be ready. Uh, again, I know you personally, you're a friend and you are a co-traveler with me. But for the benefit of everyone, I want you to introduce yourself to see how and when you came into meditation in general, and if you relate any experiences with Patriji, just share a little bit about it. I'm sure I'm going to go into more details about your the work that you're doing at a later time. Okay, Sandeep.
Thank you, Jairam. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Hi, I'm Sandeep. I'm from San Jose, and I work in Yahoo. I'm a corporate, corporate guy. I was introduced to meditation in 2010 by my mother, and it was just during conversations that I had over the phone, and she was just trying out pyramid meditation during that time, and she really liked it, and it helped her. And that's when she started, slowly introducing meditation to me. Initially, I was skeptical. I thought, is this for me? Uh, this is not the age for me to do meditation. And all those things that come up to actually, that your mind tries to make up and say, this is not for you. But then I slowly started trying it with a lot of skepticism at first, but I really realized the potential that meditation has. It calms you down, it brings the best in you, and later in 2012, I learned that Patriji was visiting Bay Area, and that was when I initially went and met him. And this event really shifted something in me. The moment I met him, I had a conversation with him. He was very scientific. The most important thing is, being scientific in your approach. I came from a scientific background, right? Because of our education, the rational mind always plays out. But Patriji was always approaching meditation through science. And he had never had any high pedestal as a guru. He said, I'm just a fellow traveler. I just happen to be a few steps ahead of you, and I'm going to help you in your journey. So that's what really resonated with me, and that's what made me stick to PSSM. And through the years, my journey was from one of skepticism to complete surrender. I had really wonderful experiences, and one of my pivoting experience that I would like to share here is how I actually started meditation on my own, and then how I was able to teach it to others. I know, Jairam, you're going to ask all of this later, so I'll keep the story for later. But
Yes.
just starting to meditate on my own, but then once you realize the joy, you can't stop from sharing it to others. So I'll pause here and I'll.
Yeah, that's really great. That's really great. I think it's a good beginning. I'm sure like we'll learn a lot about you. Couple of things that resonated with me in your introduction. I think many people can probably relate it to it. I was for the significant part of my life, I was a sworn bachelor. I said like, no, if I get married, I have kids, I'm going to be bound by all those obligations. So I can't really progress in my life, not professionally, like in the spiritual path that I wanted to do, because this is what your academic background gives you, right? They say renounce everything and go to Himalayas and sit there, join an ashram and practice a life of renouncement. But the simplest teachings that Patri sir said, samsara is nirvana, right? You have to live your full life with your wife, with your kids, with your brothers, sisters, family, community, your co-workers, everyone, and still find that detachment, right? So that you can actually focus on yourself and progress. I think that is essentially like what when your mom said like, hey, maybe you're going too fast into spirituality, man, you still need to have a life of it. Or you're not, your mom is a realized master, but your cousins were telling you. I went through the same thing. As I said, like 2009, I came to Patri sir, and then I got this clarity. 2011, bingo, I'm married. So you can practice nirvana while living in samsara. That's a very, very unique thing that sir teaches us, the simple things. So stay on. I will talk to you more about it. So let me introduce my last, the co-panelist. We have seen him already. Shrikant, can you? I know you went through an introduction very early in the morning. I think some of us are still waking up. So yes, you had a really full story, but we had our priorities, so we were sleeping. So can you please talk about like a couple of minutes on yourself and how you got into PSSN?
Yeah, thank you, Jairam. First of all, sir, namaste, sir, Patri sir, again, coming back to this session. And I just want to say hello to my panel team. Hi, Lawrence. Hi, Divya, Sandeep. Hello. Yeah, thank you all. Thanks, Jairam. So, yeah, coming back to my introduction, I've given a little bit, but I would give my story in a little bit different manner so that people are interested to know my other side of it. So basically, I'm Shrikant Garla, again from Atlanta, Georgia, and as my profession, I'm an IT architect in one of the global manufacturing organizations. Coming to my spiritual journey, as how we have the before Christ and after death, right? BC and AD kind of things. I'm dividing my life into 3 parts, right? So in the first part, it was my childhood where we were part of a joint family with about 20 plus people in one home. So this is the place where we learned about sharing, the caring, relationship values, discipline, living in a small room of 200 square feet, I would say, with my parents, brother and sister, but living happily, right? That is the key. So living happily, even at that point, with doing a lot of rituals, right? With various deities and things like that. So that was our part of journey while we were in childhood. But when we came to the second phase of my life, that's where we moved to our own apartment. So we have our own space wherein we have more freedom. And we were joyful there because I would say we have moved, we have joined, my parents joined to a organization called, the spiritual organization called ISKCON, right? So that is Krishna's consciousness. So which means from the first phase where we saw the consciousness in multiple places, now we saw consciousness in one place. So we felt joyful in that situation, right? The third phase, I would like to bring it as blissful, because that is when I've learned the technique of meditation. That was in the year 2003. So if you notice my variations, it was never a sad moment. It was happy, joyful, and then blissful. So it was a gradual evolvement, I would say, of my life. So it is not always that spirituality needs to come only in pain, right? It is the level of understanding on where the consciousness is, right? So earlier in the first phase, the consciousness was all around, and then in my second phase, we felt the consciousness was in one idol, right? And then in the third phase, we felt through meditation, consciousness is within, right? So that is where the blissfulness came up. So that's why I divide my thing into three parts. No problems anywhere. This life is going as smooth as possible with meditation and with consciousness and with this teaching capabilities, getting blissful more and more and more and enjoying my days.
Oh, fantastic. Life is full on for you. So I'm glad to hear the your story, your message. I'm sure like many of us are saying like, yeah, why can't I get that? Right? Can you add that on top of my coffee? So let me get back to Lawrence again. So Lawrence, now we are coming to some quick sharing from you, right? So you are in corporates. You do a lot of, I think you were talking about some merger acquisition work that you guys that you were doing that took you to India. You're a senior leader, as much as I know about you. Not going into the details of the companies that we work for. But you tend to work with a lot of cultures, a lot of different people, different maturity levels, like the junior most new entry, new joinee to a senior most vice presidents of the company in multinational companies, right? These are global in nature. So what was it before for you and what was it after? And how did you take some of the learnings from your journey in changing the DNA of your company culture? Can you share some of this? Because we have a lot of people on following today. They may find some tidbits from you that they can practice.
Yeah, thanks. It's a big question. But
take your time.
I would first of all, for everyone listening, when you start a journey to try to transform the workplace, you need to make sure you transform yourself first, right? So you build your own strengths, your own purpose, and energy, so you can really engage. And I used to say to people I meet in a business, and even clients and so on, because we have conversation about mindfulness meditation, that you cannot talk intellectually about meditation or mindfulness if you don't practice. And there are some people in corporation who are trying to create well-being mindfulness programs, but themselves they don't practice, and you feel that it doesn't work so well. So how to build your own confidence before you go and try to spread this meditation movement? First, for me, it brought me health and time. Many of you mentioned that, but my sleep, Divya mentioned this, but the quality of sleep and the quantity, I needed less. So it gave me like 5-6 hours a week of additional time. So time to read, to write and stuff like that. The second point is the diet. So I became vegetarian. I was eating less, spending less time, and stopped the processed food and everything. And it also gave me strength that I knew a new purpose: don't kill animals. And I think Patricia has been very clear about this. But I started to speak up about it, right? And my family is still not vegetarian. So, but they have nearly stopped the meat, and I'm getting there. The third big change. I was traveling a lot. I was taking medication to sleep, time zone and all of this. And one day I was driving with Chandra to the office, and he said, "Okay, the next challenge is no medication." It was 3.5 years ago, and I was like, "No, I cannot," and so on. In the US, in France, everybody's taking medication, but I decided to stop. So it's 3.5 years. I have not taken any pill of any sort. So you build your confidence about, hey, it's working, really, the energy. So the energy, the flow in what you are doing, the ability to focus, build also this confidence. The second point, all fear disappear. So it's kind of miraculous also. So, the fear about the new job, the new boss, some boss are not so nice, the emotion during a deal, all of this. It's like you are in a philosophy in PSSM of you do your best, and because you become aware of yourself, you control and you know your emotion. So when a fear is coming, there is somebody in a book said, let it go. You have 12 seconds, but after 12 seconds, you have to move it somewhere else and take control back, because we are human beings, so we have some emotions.
Yeah.
So become aware, and if somebody is yelling at you or not happy, instead of losing your mind and feeling like a 12 years old in front of the teacher with yelling, you go back to, hey, I am a master, I am a god, I know myself. So that's really helpful in business, in any kind of situation. So the fear, you see the big picture, you do your best, and you learn, and you see learning as an opportunity. So you become entrepreneurial. The third aspect, being present, being aware, being present. So you can really become productive and effective. You focus on the task. I stopped multitasking. Okay. I felt it was heroic to be multitasking. Now I feel it's a waste of time. So I've been reading and exploring. Patricia said, do your research, do your research. So stop multitask. That's my advice to everybody. Okay. Follow the guidelines, stop multitasking. Because when you multitask, even at home, they know you are not there. You still smile, but they know you are somewhere else. So stop multitasking. You develop science of friendship. Okay, and we did a Buddha CEO workshop 3 years ago in Pyramid Valley. It opened my eyes. Science of friendship is my mantra in the business. So it means collaboration. You pay attention, giving feedback. All of this, and it's to your boss as well as to your team or your colleagues, right? So you create empathy, the real one, not sympathy. Empathy, right? We are all connected. I was like, we are all connected. Well, this is PSSM, right? Teaching that. What does it mean at work? Okay, how can I translate that? How can I serve you? How can I help you instead of what is it for me? Right? You change. What is it for me? How can I help you? In business with clients, teammates, it's working. But again, you have to be aware. So if you don't meditate, you are not aware, you lose it, right? My mantra became in my last team, and I have a new team now, and I'm going to use the same. We are one team, we count on each other. I repeated that like 1,000 times, and we created a family of 1,000 people in my previous job, and it worked. So gratitude comes with it. It's just a positive circle. The next one for everybody is miraculous thinking. Same, teaching from Pyramid Valley, the way to say it. The first time I said it at business, and I have a kind of senior job, I thought people will feel I go crazy. But I started to teach miraculous thinking, but with the wording of the corporation. So trust your intuition. If you meditate, you will get it. Growth mindset, just ability to change, take new challenge. Look at people who succeed with as a role model, not as a competition. Okay, forget competition. Trust the universe. Universe has your back. When you hire people, if you trust yourself, you hire the right people. They might not be like you, but they will complement you. So all of this came through ongoing daily meditation, reading book, talking to other PSSM members, and finally health decision making. The big learning from Patricia, and I had multiple conversations, was be patient. Wait, don't rush. Just observe, listen, truly listen, be patient. Okay, so it was really useful in some big decision I make for the business, and it works, right? And finally, I decided 3 months. I talked to Sri Andaga. I remember we were in Mumbai, and after that, he said, "You can plant a seed," because I was like, "How can I bring that to my colleagues?" Plant a seed. Okay, you can start with one, and so that day. Back to New York, in a plane, I said, I'm going to talk about mindfulness and meditation to one person a day. And I took this commitment to myself. So sometimes I talk to one person. It can be my neighbor, my dentist, anybody I'm on video and so on. It can be small. I say, hey, we have an outage. Okay, take a deep breath. And I do this, in a WebEx. And I say, take a deep breath. Just meditate a few seconds. We're going to get there, right? So but once a day, and then it can be sometimes thousands of people in a teaching call, right? But that helped me because I met so many people, and also you help people, if I may, coming out. I discovered many people, including in human resource in my corporation, who are practicing, but nobody wanted to talk about it, like a secret. So within 4 years, we really moved from, okay, some people talk about it, to now it's part of a corporate program, okay, that you can learn. And we have 12,000 people in our mindfulness community of this large company in the IT industry based in New York. And it's an official, ICANN, it's IBM. So I talk in my name, but IBM has a Be Resilient and mindfulness section to help people. And it's also supported by the well-being and wellness organization. So we innovate and we encourage people to learn, okay? And the mindset has become more important than what we were teaching 4 years ago, which was more like just your diet and exercise and drink water. Now it's take care of your mindset. So that's a journey. And again, if I could do it, I think everybody can trust themselves to do it. But the key is, I tell my team, practice, practice, practice. If not, it's just intellectual.
Wow. I am so I'm immersed in this discussion because I totally understand, as a leader of the organization, working with hundreds of people every day and leading their lives, right? Because as leaders, we have a responsibility for every individual who is on our team, and we take it a little seriously. And that leadership setting the tone, right? The leadership right tone setting is the most important thing.
Agreed.
I am so happy to hear that IBM is really blessed with a leader like you, who talks about the connectedness of people, respect them, give them their own space, and teaching them to evolve. Wonderful messages, Lawrence. I think I will, on behalf of everyone, I will ask for a one-on-one with you after this event and continue to build a relation with you.
And just to be fair, I mean, it's clear that IBM is an environment, despite all the challenges and so on, but where the values are there. So you have a lot of people, who are maybe not with the right tool. So we try to teach meditation, but are already in this mindset of, creating a good workplace.
Yeah. I'll tell you about my thing. The reason why I said that is, see, every company has a character. Every company has a value system. And the companies that we are referring to, I worked for a company called Intel Corporation. You probably know it. I think everyone knows it who has a laptop. So we are such a pioneers in the industry, right? We were path-breaking. We were 50-year-old. It's a phenomenal culture that we have in the company. But then everyone walks into the company, they know they're working for the company, they're doing something. But the moment you start to build the team, that family mentality, right, among the team, now you're taking this culture to a completely different level of elevation. And that's what we are talking about. By the way, now I don't work for Intel. Just 3 weeks ago, I switched on to another big company in the Valley, Google. So I'm working at Google now. Patri sir, that may be a news for you now. Yeah, so I'm going through my own transitions, and this helps a lot. So thank you, Lawrence. It's really incredible experience. So Divya, let me get to you now. I know you are, from a community standpoint, right? You're a professional of your own. You have a family of your own, but you reached into your community. You started like you're doing things with them. Now you are combining this community to corporates and corporate to community. That transition that you are managing. I would like to understand, like, what are those 3-4 things that you learned along the way that you can share with some of us that we can learn and practice and do more to the humanity?
Sure, Jayam, thank you. And as we discussed, I have found so many benefits of meditation for my own life. So I want to give the same benefits for all the people around me. So teaching and gifting meditation has become a passion now. And I feel the corporate people are the people who need it the most. So they go through so much of stress and the struggle of the relationships with their bosses, of the family members. I think they are the people we need to reach the most. So myself, with all the other meditators in Dallas, we're teaming up and forming networks and support groups. And we've been teaching meditation to corporate people. And now we're doing for American Airlines employees. We're doing many online and in-person sessions for them, and they've been seeing many beautiful benefits, like we all do. They've been saying that, oh, my day is so less stressful, just meditate for a few minutes a day. So they will be very thankful for all the movement and all the things we are doing for them. And I'm also doing something called a new YouTube channel called Meditation Magic. So with this channel, the motto is to reach to all the spiritual aspirants across the world. We're making success stories like what we are discussing right now. We're making the concepts from all the senior masters and the newest spiritual masters across the world. So the motto is to take meditation to people around the world. And next thing we're doing locally in Dallas is a Mindful Masters Toastmasters Club. It's a new program. We're combining mindfulness with the Toastmasters public speaking and leadership program. So I feel there's so much of need for people to get into mindfulness. This is the time, the crisis is the time for us to teach meditation and also as well as learn from them in return too. I think that's the key we need to do at this time, Jairam.
Oh, fantastic. I think you mentioned something that we did not talk a whole lot about it so far, but I briefly mentioned this unprecedented crisis, the new normal that we are getting into, because whatever we knew before COVID and after COVID, it's a completely different world. And people are more stressful. Of course, they're spending a lot of time in the homes, which they were not used to. They should be spending more time, to be honest, right, from the beginning. But the world was different here, and now they're spending time. They're trying to figure out, like, what is this new world? Like, how do I live with my family? How do I have that relation with my wife, my neighbor, my kids, right? I think teaching them some of these things and calming them down, give them some clarity is always helpful. So thank you for your work in the community. So Shrikant, one question for you is, you talked about pyramid centers in Atlanta. You briefly introduced us to some of the activities that PSSM USA was doing, which many of us were part of it, but like you were leading on the East Coast side of it. So my question is, so you're mixing again the PSSM to the local community where there was not a lot of this meditation, these practices, especially in the parts of the East Coast that you're in. So what are your learnings? How are you helping transforming individuals? And what are the 1-2 things that you can share here?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Jairam, for the question. Yeah, I would really thank my mother for this because she was the one who forced me to put a meditation board at front of my home in 2011. I was so much hesitant to put that board because we know we were doing meditation for ourselves and we are finding that happiness. But to put a board and to tell somebody about it was so much hesitant. But she forced me. She forced me to put that board in 2011, though we learned meditation fast introduced in 2003, but practiced from 2005 or so. But the board was put only in 2011 in Atlanta. That's where we bought our new home. And she said, this is the first thing you need to do. So we set up a beautiful center and we put up a board saying, yes, this is a meditation center. And the first time when I taught meditation and I heard the experiences of the people who have meditated, holy cow, that is the whole transformation in me, to hear that experience, and that is the joy and blissfulness I felt, double the amount of what I used to get when I meditate for myself. So now I understand why Patri sir is so much asking for so many people for meditation experiences. That is for his happiness and his joyfulness. So that is what I felt, right? So so with that one center initially, and now we have reached to at least about 11 different centers in different areas of Atlanta. So that is, we are just talking about Atlanta. So we have centers in Indianapolis, we have centers in North Carolina. So a lot of centers, but I'm just focusing on Atlanta here because I personally work very closely with them. So we have special programs there on special days for a full moon or a new moon, right? Apart from these centers, we also conduct sessions in common places like libraries, community halls, and churches, right? And we did also a few workshops. The for pyramid making, right? To just engage our teens and to get into an activity. So that was a very successful one where we brought a lot of teens into that program. And the other thing what Patriji taught us is about natural meditation places, right? So we do a lot of trekkings. Atlanta, is a good climate for most of the time. So we go to nearby mountains and we do trekkings, and what a wonderful time we spend on that, on the trekking times, beautiful experiences, what people also enjoy. So that was wonderful from the community aspect. Now, I just want to cover a little bit on the corporate world also. So we are utilizing like lunch and learn sessions, right? So there are, for most of the corporates, there is a thing called lunch and learn. So anybody can share their learning in that period, and we use that opportunity to teach, and not just teaching, just share our experience on what that mindfulness is, what meditation is in that just 30 minutes lunchtime period. And a lot of people liking those things while we talk. So we normally hesitate to talk in the corporate world about this, but once you initiate that talking, and that inspiration, I got it from Lawrence. Talking in the corporate world, right? Usually we talk in the community world, that's fine, right? But talking the same thing on the corporate world was an eye-opening when Lawrence did those experiments. So that really helped us to get into that corporate world. And we also have done various other sessions with corporates after entering into that lunch and sessions. But mainly, the one of the main intention of this program, right, Digital Meditation Summit,